Hello there everyone and welcome back. I think I'm going to return to Adeptus Mechanicus very soon, but I have been having a sort of itch there to play with Battle Barge once again, since it feels like it's been forever, and in all honesty, I don't even think I played with the Battle Barge at all since the nerf to the lock-on stances was a critical hit chance here. So I feel like, if I were to be perfectly honest, I almost want to say this is a bit of a buff to at least the Battle Barge, just due to the fact that it's so damn resilient critical hit wise, on top of the AC armor, that I feel like just having the critical hits reduced gives it that much more staying power. Sure, it hurts the bombardment mechanics incredibly well since one of their main traits here, although I'm still not entirely certain how the improved critical effect works, if it just doubles on top of the 22.5 critical hit chance there, or if it just increases the likeliness of destroying components. That's the only thing I'm not certain about, because you would think, if it did double the critical hit chance, you figure it would already be applied and put that up to 45%. That's where my uncertainty is at, and I haven't really got a good opportunity to test that out in any effective manner, but I am itching to play with this ship because it is damn fearsome. It is damn potent with like I said, the AC armor all around makes this incredibly resilient for long range skirmishes, and it does have the 600 shields as opposed to the Necrons to at least quite effectively deflect a lot of lance fire. And if I'm so lucky enough to at least deal with something that doesn't have disruption overcharge or anything to the equivalent, supercharged void shields can compound on that fact so much more against my opponent. And the reason why I don't think the lock-on nerf really affects Space Marines all that much, since they rely a lot on their boarding to do damage as opposed to their actual weaponry, they can kind of get the critical hits that they want most, so long as they can get the broadside of boarding assault actions in, and of course boarding torpedoes if they're equipped for them. They still have ways to destroy engines, destroy decks, or even a generator if it suits them. So I feel like these Space Marines are still going to be potent. It's just a question on just how damn expensive this Battle Barge is. We're looking at something that is maybe, 500 points? I want to say this is the most expensive ship in the game right currently. The Void Stalker was close to 500. Oh, the Karn is basically equal to it at just 1 point off. And I want to say the Custodian is not anywhere close to that if I'm understanding this correctly. Yeah, it's about 20 points cheaper, but it was kind of up there too, I think. So, let us have fun with this ship and get some good victories in the process. Here's hoping. Alright, so this is kind of the matchup I was most afraid of, if I were to be so honest. Although it is an opponent I don't really recognize, which may be a good sign. And a lot of the reason why I'm afraid of this matchup, because if they're utilizing the 6 strike cruiser fleet, I should in theory be a heavy underdog, since like I said before, the strength, or at least the greatest strength of the Space Marines is their boarding potential, and not so much the critical hit factor, which in all honesty is what I'm relying on a lot of the time for my Battle Barge to really have value in this fleet. So I don't feel all that optimistic, so it really comes down to what's my greatest strength. Honestly, if I were serious, it's probably the additional range with good use of stasis bombs, and if I can critically hit one of their engines and knock them out of the fight for at least the close range boarding potential, then maybe the Battle Barge could do something. Since even with lock-on against the cruiser, there's a respectable chance this thing can cripple an engine or two. If my opponent knows what they're doing, considering the ridiculously long reload time of these bombardment cans, you can kind of play around that and just dodge them really easily with either high mobility or just burning retros at the right time while you're doing side strafe maneuvers. It's definitely something the Eldari should be trying to utilize, since it's the most convenient for them to do, and it's quite impactful if you do it properly.
Engines engaged.
And so far, positive impressions. It's not 6 cruisers, but it could be very similar to my fleet. Or at the very least, it could be 4 strike cruisers and maybe we're dealing with vanguards.
We stand ready.
Unlikely, but definitely possible. So that makes my expectations a lot better, because hell, Vanguard's even more vulnerable to the critical hit potential. Never mind the fact that they are so hindered now, with only 2 charges of their boarding. But yeah, the boarding as well as their Thunderhawks, they're not really going to be impactful on their own. It's the silent run that can be an annoyance if I'm caught off guard. But let's grab some points. Let's ideally, hell, if these are strike cruisers, well, we'll know if they have fighters bays or not, because that does limit what options they have. Since strike cruisers can either have fighter bays, torpedoes, or lances for the prime weapon. I want to say that's a frigate there. I want to say. It's entirely possible it's not a frigate, but I'm just going to see how quickly it captures. I want to say this is a frigate anyway. I just honestly can't remember how quickly a light cruiser can actually grab objectives, even though it's kind of the only one that hasn't been changed. Battleships, cruisers, they all have been buffed up to grab objectives faster, so you figure I'd be able to deduce what this is. Alright. All I can honestly remember. Okay, so we have fire base there. Yeah, I might as well recall them. I had 3 fire base versus their 2, but I don't want the point defense to kind of kill off a valuable charge of my... Hell. Let's try and make use of some of these torpedoes some.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Like I said, my one great strength is my ability to hit them from a distance, maybe. Especially with lock-on. And boarding, if my opponent doesn't know how to dodge this, although fighters have been recalled, they should be able to very easily deal with these torpedoes. But at the same time, it's kind of the same case. Oh, and I did lose, sadly I did lose my fighter bays, which is a little bit shocking. Oh, does that mean, oh, that means they have a battle barge, okay. And my opponent's letting these torpedoes hit too, so this might lead to be a potentially underwhelming battle, because now this thing's even easier to hit. Sure, it has called arms and all that, but
The enemy has seized a strategic
let's see
area.
about crippling the engines on this thing. And I do have disruption overcharge as well, so once my weaponry start hitting, those shields are not coming back up.
Hold course.
So we're dealing with a mirror match though. And easily a third of your fleet's gone, and you cannot repair that bombardment cannon, which is another benefit here. Okay. And actually I should get ready to start boosting in. Battle barge, oh, they have lances. Oh, that's a lance. Ooh, excuse me, that's a lance battle barge too. And that fighter base. Let's show them how this is done properly, I guess. And hell, actually, let me fire boring torpedoes on the battle barge, ideally. And if I can, just dodge this. I think one is going to get stuck in the disruption bomb. It is a less experienced opponent because the plasma bomb kind of negates the value of the disruption bomb quite well. But we're still in good shape. The boring, well, they did call the arms immediately, so we'll give them that. Now let's just get ready to kill off. Oh, and I should have switched my skills because again, I did have disruption overcharge. There wasn't really much need for disruption bomb. So 2 engines are gone there. So now it's just a matter of isolating these things, and it's going to be a bit of a slow process. Well, I say that, but I'm going to have torpedoes available in a moment. Now, cooperate with... Oh, group orders are taking effect. That's what's happened there. You can see the move order was kind of pointed towards my frigate for some weird reason. Now let's try and get close enough that torpedoes don't hit me. Sadly, I thought that was more impressive than it was. I did block 2 of them, but not much else, sadly. Now, I just repaired and I lost my torpedoes as a result of that. Oh well, everything's pretty well crippled. Let's get ready for our attack run on this flagship. It is all lance weaponry.
You have
And actually,
accumulated
this is a good opportunity for
25%
disruption bomb, I
strategic
suppose. Do I continue? Well, I should continue boarding for crying out loud, because this thing is about... Can I fire torpedoes in time? I don't think that timed that well. No. If those were short burn torpedoes, that would have hit
The enemy
and
has
done the
accumulated
damage before the stasis
25%
bomb.
strategic points.
Now I just basically gave them free denial of the torpedoes. But we got 2 more cruisers to kind of complement this. Now, and you should not be able to dodge this very well, even though you do have A3 armor. There, that was an impressive hit. Let's switch to reload stance, because I don't really need lock-on anymore,
Strategic areas.
since the critical hits I need have already been in effect. And that wasn't even planned, but I'll take it with the ram.
You have seized a strategic area.
And you should dodge those boring torpedoes just fine. And hell, the flagship's gonna lose its crew at this rate, which is even better. An unexpected bonus, but one I will happily take. So now let's turn our attention to the limping ship that we crippled so early on. And it's part of the reason why I want to try and harass them at distance. Oh. Well, they kind of know what they're doing. Disruption overcharge is there, which will deny my shield recharge. Thankfully, that has not been a big factor. Thankfully. It's just... It comes down to experiences, is I think what dictated this battle. And the fact that this thing is still on called arms. So let's take advantage of that and just pummel this thing to death with more and more torpedoes. That's game. I was genuinely worried about it, but against cruisers we see, I can cripple them relatively well. Even though my opponent was not playing super aggressive in what I realistically would expect what a 6 cruiser fleet might do, especially with lances, since that seemed to be the most predominant. And against Space Marines, or at least in a mirror match, there's a lot of merit to the lances. With the lock-on, you have 18,000 unit range, so they can hit me pretty damn consistently, and I don't really have a safe spot to kind of avoid getting my shields hit if I want them to recharge, especially with if I ever want to utilize, well, my extended range basically, which I don't really have much of a range advantage. But at that distance I can effectively dodge bombardment cannons and macro cannons relatively well, just due to the accuracy, and like I said, for my strike cruisers at least, I could just burn retros with them so easily and just turn their heading to maybe dodge a bombardment cannon. Lances are a little more problematic. Alright, now this is the type of matchup you want to see. Basically good versus evil. Space Marines versus their traitorous heretics. Although, it looks like we're facing off against Slaanesh, which I think it's the word bearers that are the arch rivals of the Ultramarines. It's been a while though. I only know that there was a Titan type ship that they tried to make. I forget what it was called, damn it, but they wanted to try and destroy McCraig, and it was led by the word bearers, so I'm assuming that's who the main rival is. So sadly, we're not going to get that today. Although, Slaanesh is still a big threat, because, whatever that ability is called that can basically keep me frozen for 5 seconds. While it's only 5 seconds, it will immediately kill my shields. Which may not be a big deal if they're lance-centric, but if they're slaughters or anything like that, that does allow them an immediate and almost guaranteed way to kill off my shields. But they don't have a disruption overcharge. So supercharged void shields could be amazing here, and of course, I still really dislike wanting to use this ability to kind of like exploit my way through the shields, since it's still uncertain if that's intended or not, since 10%, let's be honest, 10% additional damage to shields isn't all that impressive on its own anyway, if I were to use them against the majority of the factions we can go up against. But pausing shields directly absolutely changes that dynamic amazingly, because of course, it denies things like supercharged void shield, which is another factor. Otherwise, we're gonna go with it and we're gonna see what happens, and again, be very mindful of possibilities of / aggressive play. And with that said, let me actually move my cruisers in the proper direction. So all I see are 5 ships, which is a good sign for me. That normally means maybe grand cruisers. And I thought I heard something boosting. With the music, it's actually a little bit tricky unless I'm aiming properly. But I can normally hear if there's a emission dissipator, and I'm not hearing anything, so I think we're in the clear. And I think the best thing I can do, well, until we know what we're up against, which there are gas clouds, but I can launch fighters easily detect. Alright, so grand cruisers are almost confirmed. Because if that was like a battleship and a cruiser, that should have captured almost immediately there. I feel like that's confirmation that these are grand cruisers. Now the big question is, what kind of grand cruisers would they be? They wouldn't be carrier ones, because normally, at least they wouldn't all be the carrier type, because otherwise they would only be able to afford 4 of them. Alright, so that looks... It's hard to tell by the odd placement of all these blips, but maybe there is a battleship of some kind to contend with. And getting through this narrow point will be done momentarily. Even though morale's not an issue, minimizing my damage is a big deal still. Alright, so just a Stig. Although, I did let my fighters unfortunately get sniped off, so that's a bit of a pain.
At your command. Enemy in sight.
So let's see.
Underway.
If I can... Well, what do I need to do? Alright, 2 Stigs. What I want to do is brace for impact, basically. Brace for impact's going to be so damn impactful here.
Where shall we strike?
And we'll watch for what kind of weaponry they have. Because Stigs themselves are not terrifying, it's the bombers that are. Alright, so lance batteries.
You have seized a strategic area.
Keep the frigate alive for the time being.
Give us purpose. Full speed.
Now reveal that and get ready for an engagement of sort.
Engines engaged.
And they're only assault boats, so we're dealing with possibly a less experienced player. And I do need to kind of reveal these things. So let's take advantage of that while the... Oh, can I shoot him down? Damn it, fighters. I launched them specifically for this role, too. Alright. Unfortunately... Actually, let my Battle Barge take point. I'm suffering critical hits quickly, but... Battle Barge should be able... And it's almost at a combustion gauge, so maybe not. Now, what's our priority? Since I think I want to destroy a deck, with that said. And I hear fighters being launched too, so let's keep that in mind. And can we start boarding? Yep, there's the Slanesh favor I was kind of expecting. I should have done broadside boarding because that's kind of more important, but can these board in time before the fighters get them? Nope. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but... Nope, I did not wish to fire torpedoes there, but... Can we at least get critical hits of sorts? Because if you ram me, I'm actually okay with that. You sadly have no weaponry left, as far as, like, you have no torpedoes with that said. Now, I'm doing a terrible job controlling this right now, so... So we need to start killing these things quickly. And actually, boarding torpedoes could be good on this one ship.
We are needed. Full speed.
And can we murder one of these sticks quickly? Nope, got no boarding in the last, so...
Hold course.
You're about to die. Boarding's pretty
Purpose.
Actually, I could deal with this.
Underway.
I was supposed to let that supercharged void shield recharge on me. And
At your command.
can we board? Let's just continue boarding this one ship off
Give us purpose.
and keep an eye.
Underway.
Let's see, nothing's really crippled enough for torpedoes on their own, so let's try and damage this Stig. Although that was a bad angle, I won't lie.
Where shall we strike? Engines engaged. All power to engine.
Destroy that.
Moving to position. Give us
Get more boarding in, because we got a drifting hull. That's a good sign, because
your command.
so far my ships are sort of hanging in there. I just need more boarding to kind of compound on this.
Boarding successful.
And since they just launched fighters, maybe I can get some bombing in. It's the one downside, though,
Engines engaged.
of not having additional squadrons of fighters, though.
That is impossible.
And I did just board, right? No, you didn't let me board, you cursed thing. But we'll turn off the other ship here in a moment. So drifting Hulk again. Try and kill these things off. What's the best ship to kill? Well, the Stig, for one.
Show us the enemy.
Sadly, no damage there of note. And I have boarding about to be available on this, so let's kill off this Grand Cruiser quickly.
Shall we strike?
Actually, that was already done, thankfully.
Give us purpose.
Kill the Stig, that's the flagship. Sadly, point defense are not doing much in this regard.
Allocated 25% to strategic points.
Repositioning.
So we're looking in good shape now. Let me actually get my dang Gladius in here. I'm doing a terrible job controlling.
Engines engaged.
And actually, that'll hit the other ship, will it? I was kind of excited maybe that would hit.
Underway. We stand ready.
So crew's almost gone, sadly, on this ship, but boarding is going to help compound on that really well.
Hold advance.
There, point blank boarding damage is nice. I will happily take that. Recharge these shields.
Hold advance.
I haven't used cold arms at all, but
Show us the enemy.
I think we're looking good now. It was definitely
Hold advance.
a bit precarious. We just gotta kill off this other ship now,
Listening.
which should be easy to do with these. I'm hoping these boarding Thunderhawks will actually connect. Yep, they connected. We got mutiny there. That's about to lose his crew.
For where we are needed. Redirecting.
So we are golden.
I am listening.
A little more messier than I would have liked.
Our wrath cannot be denied.
I was not happy with my control in that engagement. But a lot of the panicking was because I figured they would have killed off my fleet a lot faster,
Points.
if I were to be serious. Although, we lasted surprisingly longer than I expected. They did have Celestia's promise, which thankfully wasn't as significant, but ideally what I want to do, well, they also had Siren Cannons, which doesn't really help them at all in this exchange, so that worked to my advantage too. But what I seriously need to do is to make sure that the Battle Barge is taking point, since as you saw, one of my bombardment cannons was destroyed on the strike cruisers before we even got into ideal engagement range, which probably would be around 9,000 range. Maybe closer due to the convenience of being able to do the boarding assault actions. So, it's an engagement I'm not happy with, but we somehow succeeded despite all that. Okay, face off against Chaos again, and we're dealing with, well, it says ranked 1, or at least lower ranking of Season 2, which could mean anything. Our opponent could have all their skills upgrade, but it's another opponent I don't really, I'm not familiar with, at least. And was it garden shovel? Was that... Yeah, garden shovel. That's not a very fearsome weapon, I won't lie to you. Do you realize how big this battle barge is? It's at the very least, what, 10 kilometers, 10 miles long? What's a garden shovel gonna do against that? Seriously. That's all I have to say on that matter, but it is chaos and it is a generic chaos faction, which is important to note too. So I don't have to worry about sneaky tricks like Slanesh, was it? Call Slanesh? Slanesh's Desire, whatever the hell you call it. But the strategy should still stay the same, since I don't have to worry about my shields going down. Supercharged Void Shield can be great at mitigating a lot of the lance fire, if I don't screw it up again, that is. And Stasis Bomb, I want to believe will help me keep them from running away. That sounds very unlikely though, considering just how mobile the Chaos Fleet can actually be. And hell, I think what I want to do instead is have the Battle Barge just push on through. Where do I expect them to deploy? This one objective almost clearly, since I talk about how I want my Battle Barge to take point. So the best way to do that is just make sure the Battle Barge is ideally in the middle of the map, so it's a lot easier for it to at least get in position. If my opponent tries to outmaneuver me, then that's praise to them for taking advantage of that one weakness of the slower mobility the Battle Barge presents to me, but realistically, this helps me with the Battle Barge game position without having the need to use my boosters and possibly reveal myself to a lot of flak, a lot of lance fire. So let's get to start, and it captures the objective so quickly anyway. Then I don't really have to worry about stopping it. Although, what does this tell us? 5 ships and 3 frigates, so a hint here that my opponent may be less experienced. At least they're not solid running right off the bat. So that bodes well for me. And I did play up against the Drukhari match in my warm-up game, so it's a shame I did not record that because that was a tense one. It was, although again it was a case of my opponent just letting the shadow field die off, which with Disruption Overcharge and what I learned is not a big deal because once one of my cannons can hit them and I can consistently hit them, they're not going to be hiding anytime soon anyway. So I don't think it was that big of a deal, at least if they're planning on committing. And it wasn't even a Drukhari fleet that was utilizing Impalers, or the traditional route, which made a bit of an oddity. Nonetheless, free damage there, I'll take that, unless they happen to have the asteroid shielding, or navigational shielding rather. In all honesty, I should have launched these fighters sooner, because there's a real chance these ships get to this gas cloud before my fighters even get there.
Show us the enemy.
Otherwise, frigates are getting position, and once these cruisers are on the objective, I'm just going to burn retros with them until the battleship gets back in place.
Halt advance.
And ideally, watching their heading. Okay, they're just going straight directly for the objective. I was kind of hoping that if maybe they were continuing to go to the right here, these strike cruisers could be amazing at just intercepting and cutting them off. What do we have here? Hectate, Carnage, so it's a bit of a random fleet, to say the least. It extends sensors, so they're going to spot me at range as soon as I get within firing distance.
Where shall we strike?
Alright, strike cruisers start getting position, scanners get ready. And ideally, well, that's confirmation I'm probably in range. Now I gotta start prioritizing something.
It will be destroyed.
Now, Gladius, just get behind them and just avoid getting shot down, ideally. These frigates are going to be important for probably later. And hell, I should just get aggressive. They don't have armor piercing. They don't have any of that really dangerous type of close-range weaponry. And this is a perfect angle for boring torpedoes too, with that said. So let's get to boarding. Actually, can I board that? Nah, I was hoping to get close.
Halt advance. Hold course.
But the fighters are there to soak up the point defense.
Moving to position.
Now I apologize to the red sun. It's actually obscuring my vision quite notably too, I won't lie.
Engines
But
engaged.
engines are down there. Shields are going to get recharged in a moment, so let's fix that problem. And also reload. What did you just permanently destroy?
In sight.
Oh, just macro weaponry, which of course is the ones I'm trying to shoot with, you cursed thing.
Boarding successful.
And I don't really want to board that ship because it's already limping. I just want to kill that thing. But stasis bomb is great here, I don't need to tell you that.
Cannot be denied.
Just, I hope I timed that properly though. Because stasis bomb is likely gonna cause problems here. Yep, that was amazing boarding. Do I overcommit on the boarding though, with that said? Nah, I don't think I overcommit.
Our wrath cannot be denied.
Just board these ships. Yep, there's the cold arms. I was kind of wondering if they were going to do that or not.
Halt advance.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And already we got several limping
Show
ships.
us the enemy.
Sadly, my broadside weaponry has been heavily hindered, but
Boarding calls
I definitely need to pay better attention of my shields. But it's doing well in this exchange, though. Let it recharge,
in sight.
finish this thing off, and
Where shall we strike?
how limping is our
Boarding successful.
Grand Cruiser? Very limping.
Moving to position.
And this is the one rare case I want to try and double team on boarding and to raw damage on this thing.
To strategic points.
Get me out of the stasis bomb. I don't want to be in here. Oh, that was a self-destruction. Okay, never mind. I figured all this time it was a stasis bomb, but let's kill off the crew here.
Moving to position.
Repair, repair. And actually, let's switch the reload stance, because why the hell not?
At your command.
It's a bit blinding, I won't lie for me.
Underway.
I'm having to really concentrate a tiny bit to see. Let's see, torpedoes are up, right? Torpedoes are up, perfect. Now I lost my train of thought, but despite the blinding visuals of the solar flare, oh well,
Positioning.
we got this in the bag. The critical hits are starting to kick in,
Underway.
and it's crippling this poor fleet.
Where shall we strike?
Now, finish it off.
Engines engaged.
What is left otherwise? Really not a whole lot.
Show us the enemy.
Actually, I just want to board you without burning a boarding assault action, ideally.
Listening. All
Now,
power to
finish
engine.
off this hectate.
Moving to position.
It's mutiny, but that's not good enough for me.
Enemy in sight.
There, that's much more impactful. You know what's better than 6 torpedoes? One that's the size of a strike cruiser and is going in at full speed. Because that's basically what just happened there. And that battle barge took that hit like a champ.
I am listening.
I wasn't even referring to self-destruction, but it
Enemy in
conveniently had to. And I had supercharged forward shield, so that was a nerve. Bad case of me not paying attention, but it's meant to take the hits, and that's exactly what it did. Now,
sight. Your command.
let's finish off this thing.
Initiate.
And if possible, hit with a couple of boarding torpedoes for good measure.
To where we are needed.
We'll just see what hits them first. And
Give us purpose.
apparently one boarding torpedoes hit a dang strike, hit debris, so that
We
doesn't
stand
count.
ready. Underway.
Yeah, why use torpedoes when I got this big massive strike cruiser fairing torpedo? It is much more effective.
Repositioning.
Although, I don't know if that was from the ramming or the bombers. They kind of hit at the exact same time. Which, honestly, I kind of expected to kill the cursed thing if that were true. A strike cruiser and nearly 6 Thunderhawks should have obliterated a frigate instantly. Don't ask me how the hell survived that, but yeah. Unfortunately, a less experienced opponent, so let's see if we can sneak one more in. Okay, another Space Marine mirror match, and this one I'm going to assume is going to be a lot more difficult than the first attempt. I'm at least going to assume that. Although, We're dealing with 4 stars? I guess so. It's possible that we're not dealing with a 6 cruiser type of fleet. But still, the strategy, my 1 strength, probably is still a factor where I want to maybe try and cripple their engines and keep them at arm's length to at least minimize the amount of boarding damage I would take early on. Since if I can somehow cripple one of their ships early on and only have to worry about their lances, then technically I have the same kind of bump. Yeah, I have the same hit point pool. Almost, well, not entirely, but relatively close to double the troop value of my strike cruisers, especially if I can get full value out of a cold arms. Ideally, I would like to avoid using cold arms since they're so resilient to critical hits. Honor the Chapter can be a lot more impactful than the 2 assault actions of a single strike cruiser at least, so we'll have to play that by ear a bit. Otherwise, disruption overcharge. I don't honestly expect my shields to stay up because of that skill. Now the big question, do I go? I thought it was maybe a mistake getting disruption bomb or not swapping out, but what alternatives do I have? That's the honest question. I don't really have a lot of alternatives aside from maybe getting vision of them in the gas cloud. Yeah, I honestly don't know if I were to be serious. There's not, outside maybe a plasma bomb if I could be so lucky. That would be the exception, but I don't think we should realistically expect that. Ooh, and looks like we may be dealing with double Battle Barge.
Where shall we strike?
And there's gas cloud there, no point in launching.
To where we are needed.
No, or launching fighters is what I mean.
Holding fire.
Although, honest question. Oh, alright, so
Stand ready.
even though they're 4 stars ranked, they feel like they need the beacon.
Hold course.
And I have 2 gas clouds to sort here, so what I should do is probably harass them here. Let them launch a beacon, maybe. Well, the beacon could cover both these gas clouds, so I don't think I'm going to get away with that as much.
Give us purpose.
And what is over here?
We stand ready.
If I had to guess, maybe only a frigate?
You have seized a strategic area.
Yep, it looks like that. And I don't want the strike cruisers to be easy fodder, ideally.
Show us the enemy.
You have seized a strategic area.
And the last thing I want is to maybe get this thing connected by a beacon either.
Purpose.
Which is why I wanted to try and speed this along some.
We stand ready.
And be mindful. I am going to get revealed for a brief period, but so long as I'm out of range, that's not a big deal.
Show us the enemy.
And I think I want to wait until I'm actually
The
in
enemy
range to
has
do
seized a
damage to him
strategic area.
with the scanner. What is it? The scanners on my frigates. At least that way it
The
doesn't give
enemy has
away
seized a strategic
where they're
area.
at.
To where we are needed.
And if these are double Battle Barge, my boring torpedoes are very unlikely to connect without some good use of my fighters.
We stand ready.
Just gotta keep an eye out. And of course, be very mindful of when the second beacon comes out too, which is very likely going to be over here.
Where we are needed.
Hell, let me just grab this objective then. Since my opponent seems content to just hide in here for the time being.
Where shall we strike? Moving to position.
I don't need the battle barge to go there, I just need to grab the point to force my opponent to do something about this. And I know there was a frigate over on the right, which isn't a big deal.
We stand ready. Enemy in sight.
In best case situation, maybe I kill off this
Give us
frigate.
purpose. Underway.
Ah, dang it! I did the all ahead full poorly.
Show us the enemy.
All right, so hunters, that's fine.
At your command. Hold
So I'm
course.
scanner pulse, but these are going to be dealt with momentarily.
Halt advance.
Just grab the point and again, let them force their hand, because that dealt with everything.
Engines engaged. Give us purpose.
Actually, I should group up everything ideally too, just in case, because here comes the battle barges, I assume.
Give us purpose.
You have seized a strategic.
And I did a terrible job paying attention and I did not watch if these were the boring torpedoes either.
We stand ready.
But I got 3 objectives, so
To where we
let's
are
have fun with this. And where's the beacon going? Okay, I kind of figured as much.
needed. All power to engine.
I kind of knew that's where it's going, so
Where shall we
just gotta wait for this beacon to expire now.
Underway. Enemy in sight.
And that's the last of their boring options.
Repositioning.
Or was it the boring torpedoes? So they only got
We stand ready.
dumbfire torpedoes available.
Moving to position. I am listening.
Actually, let's just engage
Our rock
these.
cannot be denied. Show us the enemy.
I was hoping to kind of boost you out.
At your command.
So long as you're not stuck, that's the main thing.
Give us purpose.
Because they're going to be revealed for the entire time here. I have not seen any fighters, so we're going to have to do something about that.
All servitors and techmarie. Begin repair.
And actually kill off the crew some. That may have been a waste of a
Show us the
boring
enemy.
torpedo, but... And did I fire those properly? Yes, I did.
To where we are needed.
So I'm hoping the Thunderhawks, or the Stormhawks at least, provide enough time.
Boarding caused critical damage.
Ideally for the boring to do the damage this needs to.
Where shall we strike?
And I do have fighters. Well, fighters have been intercepted. Boarding's been done, so that's best case situation.
Boarding successful.
And I don't think Stasis Bomb, sadly, is going to do what it needs to do.
We stand ready. Repositioning.
You have accumulated 20.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to launch fighters, so this is going to hurt pretty hard, but
Enemy in sight.
let's see about...
Underway.
Yeah, let's do the call to arms. Because why the hell
Where
not?
shall we strike? Rear.
Keep the boarding coming,
Our rock cannot be denied.
and yeah, just cripple its ability to do
I
boarding.
am listening.
Or not really do boarding, but damn it.
Cease firing.
Group order, I did not ask for that.
Boarding successful.
Engine's gone here.
Engines engaged.
And torpedoes didn't do a whole lot, sadly.
Give us purpose.
And your engines are permanently gone.
Moving to position. Show us the enemy.
And I'm doing a bad job controlling you again, aren't I? Nope, you're just dealing with the frigates, which is not a terrible use of the frigates, truth be told. Or at least terrible use of the ship.
Boarding caused critical damage. Give us purpose. Boarding successful.
So I kind of want to board you. I'm a little impatient on that front, but
Hold course. Our rock cannot be denied.
burn all your combustion gauge.
Where shall we strike?
Crew's gonna die momentarily on the one battle barge. I just got to now do what's necessary for a second battle barge.
Engines
Which
engaged.
means
The enemy has accumulated.
we kill off this
25%
crew and hopefully...
strategic points.
Alright, good torpedo hit there.
We strike. Underway.
You're gonna get out of the plasma bomb just fine.
Boarding caused critical damage.
Yeah, just ram this and hopefully let some more dumbfire torpedoes hit.
We stand ready. Enemy in sight.
Yeah, your engines are gone, so
Give us purpose.
maybe that was a terrible idea because I just burnt all my combustion gauge.
Show us the enemy.
But you're still in good shape regardless.
To where we
Can we kill off this ship?
I am listening.
Because that's about to burn.
Engines engaged.
The enemy has accumulated 50%.
Yeah, that was a terrible idea because I blew up my own ship as a result of that.
Admiral's vessel destroyed.
But
Underway.
that still did good damage. Is it enough? Probably not.
We stand ready.
And I burnt all my combustion gauge again. Stupid
Hold
me.
course. Show us the enemy.
So I'm kind of failing at my...
Underway.
I'm getting myself killed, basically, is what's happening here, alas.
Purpose. To where we are needed.
Although that frigate will burn to death.
Enemy in sight.
That has... Yeah, I have no way to kill off the crew, sadly, there.
50% of strategic points.
And you don't have enough health, let alone firepower, to kill off this battle barge.
Hold course. Show us the enemy.
Unless, well, actually, I could get another dumbfire torpedo in. That could help. But fire's gonna kill the strike cruiser off, and then I won't be able to do the boring damage I want. Never mind the fact I still have to deal with several of their frigates still.
Accumulated 75% of strategic points.
Alright, so that potentially killed off the battle barge. No, let's see. That's gonna burn to death, thankfully.
Moving to position.
Actually, I'm not quite gonna win this.
Acknowledged.
Actually,
At your
I'm
command.
not marked, so... Or I am currently marked, what am I mean? I can outrun these Thunderhawks is what I'm trying to say.
Engines engaged.
Dang it, you survived, you cursed thing. So we're gonna have to fix that.
Where we are needed.
4 hit points.
You have accumulated
Battle Barge is gone.
75% of strategic points.
At your command.
So,
Moving
this
to position.
can still be a victory, it's just not gonna be a very speedy one. They outnumber me though in frigate count, but...
Rearm.
I also do have this frigate, which is like the fastest frigate in the game, alas. Unless the generators are completely gone on that ship, that might be exception. I could kill the crew if I'm so lucky.
Enemy in sight. At
Actually, I
your
kind of
command.
want to kill the frigate. It's going to take a little more time though.
Initiate targeting protocols. Repositioning.
Yeah, I should just go for the objective. I already got a... I'm going to have a point lead by the time that battle barge gets there, so I need to compound on that.
Engines engaged.
Alright, and that I'll easily be able to use the gas cloud to kind of conceal myself.
Moving to position.
Sadly, the battle barge is going to grab that so fast that this may not be worth it in the end.
We stand ready.
Anybody's guess right now, because again, there should be multiple frigates that I have to contend with, which should cost me this match
At your
still.
command.
Because that's what my opponent's already doing, just grabbing the
Give us
gas cloud.
purpose.
And I don't have means to kill him. I was kind of hoping maybe killing off the crew.
Engines engaged.
I just don't know what the damage threshold would be for that to
We
matter.
stand ready.
There.
Advance.
I have a slight point lead, but until I
Show us
start
the
neutralizing points, it may not matter. Oh yeah, because of how quickly it grabbed that, that probably seals the deal right there. Because what was I supposed to do for that to reset itself? Was I supposed to leave the frigate there for a period of
I'm
time
listening.
for that progress to be reset?
Where shall we strike?
That's what I'm honestly curious about.
For where we are
Because
needed.
right now I think that just cost me. Even if I have 2 points, they have the lead now.
Underway.
Yeah, because they're going to have... By the time I even neutralize this point, they basically are going to capture that. So I killed myself is what it came down to. I burnt my combustion gauge twice and let my ship self-destruct on my... Yeah, it self-destructed on the battle barge, but
Give us purpose.
I committed to self-destruction just because I figured I still had combustion gauge. I did not pay attention they were still burning it as they were ramming the ship. Otherwise, ramming this does not help me. Now, I was thinking maybe I can get over to across the map and just ram and kill the frigate, but that would not make enough point difference. This is over. There might have been a chance if I was able to kill off the crew here. Again, I just don't know how much damage I would need to do before a critical hit is forced on that ship.
We stand ready.
Since its shields are permanently down, it doesn't really have much of weaponry.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Ah, well. Like I said, I did it to myself. I deserve this loss due to my own stupidity there.
For
Yeah.
where we are needed.
I just want to see if maybe I can kill off the crew on this ship or not. Because I can easily outrun the bombers.
Repositioning.
Maybe it shouldn't have burned so much the combustion gauge, but
Underway.
Because as soon as I get in boarding action range,
Hold course.
there goes all my combustion gauge too. I just want to see if maybe I could have killed off the crew if I committed to this. No. Because that might have changed things a tiny bit. Well, not really, because the frigate was right there all this time. I could have won that. I burnt their torpedoes on the hunters really easily for no value. And I did a terrible job with taking advantage. Or at least dodging the plasma bombs. Again, I did it to myself, and hell, armor-piercing ammo is also maybe a factor too there. I was more worried about the cruiser fleet. That could have been a big important factor I never bothered to check either.